Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It's an exciting time if you're a Spurs fan. Surely there is a lot going on. Maybe you don't feel the same, but let's have a look. Let's say good morning. Let's say good afternoon. Let's say good evening first. Let's do a few hellos and then we'll get into it, shall we? For some reason, I didn't set my intro. Very unlike me. Normally my intro's there. That's why I was a bit surprised. I was waiting for like the 20-second intro to finish. And then the next thing I know, you're all there. Where are we? Where are we, people? We are in a state of change at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. We are in a state of, I would say, flux, but I just don't know where we are at the moment. It's all happening, isn't it? But we're going to get into it. So hello to all of you. There are a lot of you in here. Corey's in here. Big up, Corey. Ian's in here. Ant's in here. Mark, Tottenham NS, Adiz, Rick Kane, Marianne. Who else we got? Tony Rodriguez. How you doing, bro? Hope you're well. Daryl Denton is in here as well. We've got Hickaployer. I'm sure there's a better way to say that. I'm sure there is, but Hicko. Good evening to you. Good morning to you, wherever you are in the world. Tweak. Hello to Alex Dennison as well. Tweak is a channel member. Ian's a channel member as well. All these members. My man Blaine Dev is a channel member. Big up to every single one of you. I won't be able to do all the hellos because I'll be here forever. We do know that we need to go through the admin, don't we? The boring bits, don't we? Please learn where your nearest fire exit is in case there's a fire. And also smash the like button. And they're kind of the only two rules. If you haven't subscribed, please do, as we are fast approaching the big 20,000 on the channel. We're fast approaching it. I say that. 280 to go. That's terrible. 780 to go. But we are flying. So please be part of that journey. Smash the like button as well. Mad Mag Mark is here. Said Newcastle fan here. The Saudi PIF need to show the Premier League a fair market value sponsorship deal on your stadium first before they build a new 80,000 seat sponsored stadium next to St. James's Park. Man, listen, I don't mind what these people need to do if they come in. We will talk about it. Don't worry. We're going to get into it. We're just warming up, Mad Mag Mark. We're just warming up. Today, we are going to have talk about the massive news that Spurs could finally be getting stadium naming rights. Is it happening? Is it not? We'll have a look into it. Lots of people have got on the back of Levy and Enoch for years and saying, what's going on? Where are the naming rights? Well, that could be changing this summer. There's talks of the Saudi PIF investment, the investment fund coming into Tottenham, and that's why we're buying players. That's why we're going to have 400 to 500 million for players and for the hotel and yada, 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 yada. I don't know for sure. I know as much as you lot know. I'm just here on camera talking about it. That's it. What else have we got? Morgan Gibbs-White. Morgan Gibbs-White's caused a bit of a stir, this one, hasn't it? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the Nottingham Forest chairman who seems to be pissing everybody off, doesn't he? He seems to be pissing everyone off. Gary Neville, Crystal Palace, Tottenham, his own supporters. He seems to be pissing off lots of people, doesn't he? Is that a good thing for football? Is it good that he's sticking to his guns? Is it salty? We'll talk about that as well. There's rumours, more rumours about Wissa. There's rumours about Paulinho. There are lots of rumours. So what will happen? We'll get into it in just a second. I've got some screenshots for you. But big up, I can't believe it. 458 people. We've only been going for 4 minutes. So good morning to you all on this lovely, lovely Saturday. And I think somebody's just bought me a cup of tea. Did you just say it's a bit cold? This is how cold my tea is, right, everybody? It's not cold. It's okay. I'm going to drink some because somebody's made it for me. So, his lordship. Oh yes, it's really nice actually. And the good news is, guys, we've got a few rich tea biscuits, so that is lovely. And would you do me a favour, by any chance? Would you just put that aircon on for me? Sorry, I didn't mute myself either. Sorry, everyone's just hearing that conversation. Sorry, just while the aircon goes on, because it is hot and I can't open a window. You'll hear road noise. So the aircon is going on. Where are we at? My man Blaine Dev is so generous. Comes in with a morning super chat, a nice £10 crispy super chat. Blaine, you are always very generous to the Spurs YouTubers. Thank you very much, my man. All I know is that you must be very rich, the amount of money you chop. Big up to you, mate. Said, I am really angry. It's been 2 days and no new signings. This is disgraceful. I'm starting a new movement for Charrington out. Jokes, of course. Future's bright with Morgan Gibbs White. Blaine, this chat had it all, didn't it? Humor, jokes, anger, and poetry at the end. Absolutely stunning. Love it. Thank you very much, Blaine. Yeah, listen, let's hope that deal gets over the line sooner rather than later. I'll get into talking about that in a little bit. And of course, no signings in 2 days. Maybe we would have had one if it wasn't for the Morgan Gibbs White legal debacle from yesterday. Big up to G Giant. So thank you very much, Blaine. Really appreciate you, brother. Really do appreciate that. Who else we got? Phil Coys is here. He's been a member for 12 months. Happy 1 year of being a member. I said, smash those likes up, subscribe, and get Savva to 20,000. Fully deserved. Thank you. I'm not reading out the last bit. I'm not reading out the hashtag. Nope. I am not reading out that hashtag. Oh, I'm going to read it out, aren't I? Hashtag tell army. Tell army. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. Andy Lester has been a channel member for 1 month. Said, big up, Savva. Loving the content. Spurs moving. Listen, it's a good time. We're going to get into this, but I think it's a really good time to be a Spurs fan, right? We're signing players. We've got rid of a poor manager. We've brought in a very good coach. We've got all the coaches underneath him have gone, most of them. Brand new coaching staff in, new players, new CEO, new non-exec board member. Looks like things are happening. Have we got investment? Are we going to get naming rights? Are we going to be bought out in some capacity, maybe 25% for £1 billion? I don't know. I'm making that up, by the way, but who knows? Great time, Andy, to be a Spurs fan. So I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Big up to you, my man. And I look forward to seeing you on one of the next channel member-only shows. Big up to Craig Scott. General Tracks. Big up at General Tracks. I said, big up your bad self, Savva. Love that. Big up your bad self. Big up to you as well. Thank you very much. And General Tracks is also a channel member. If you would like to be, let me know. If not, just subscribe. You don't have to pay. Just subscribe as we march on towards the 20K. Right. Where shall we start? There's so many of you in here, by the way. I can't possibly say hello to everyone. Good morning, Tony. Good morning. Good morning, Rob Belcher. You are always here. Big up to you, my man. And the picture of Jimmy Greaves. It's a bit small, but I think that's Jimmy Greaves, right? He's very small. I can only see the eyes down. I'm gonna go with Greasy, Rob Belcher. I'm pretty sure it is. Sean says, Savva, you've been calling for this. How does this all feel that it's heading in an upward direction? Mate, it feels great. Obviously, we're at the beginning. Obviously, we don't know the full extent of, are we going to be bought out? What's the money situation going to be? But what this does do is it allows us to go to better footballers and say, hey, we're pumping money in. Look what we're doing. Hey, we're buying him, and him. Said this all along. Hard to get one-offs. But if you're doing it in a group and saying, hey, we got Kudus. We've got Morgan Gibbs White. We now want you, Paulinho. We now want you, whoever it may be. I think it makes it much easier. Harvey saying, I've had a fresh trim. Yeah, I had a fresh trim yesterday, man. Yeah, listen, the older you get, you've got to keep yourself sort of looking fresh for the camera. I have a lot of haircuts. You've probably all noticed I do have a hell of a lot of haircuts. On Kicks TV, we are live. We are live. Yeah, that button in the top corner that says live. Look, here's me live. Big up to each of you. My man Has. How you doing, bro? Long time no see. Hope you are well. So many people in the chat. Where shall we start? Evening to you, Kevin, in Australia. I can't believe it. The Australians are starting to like me again now that Ange's gone. Well, most of them. I don't think this one likes me. But hey, big up to you, Chris. Let's have a look. Okay, let's start as we mean to go on. First of all, Karate FC, very generous super chat, said, we've deserved this. Nice to see everyone positive. Yeah, look, I do think the Spurs fans have had a lot of false dawns, a lot of broken promises over the years. And I do think we deserve it. I do. Now, some people might call that arrogant. Every fan base will think they deserve everything. But hey, I don't care about every fan base. Tottenham fans. Big up to you, my man. Thank you, Karate FC. And big up to Andy Lester, who's come in. Said, is this going to be the start of something special? Well, what I will say is this. I think that we've got to remain cautious. I think we've got to remain calm. The problem we've got here is I do think what will happen is we'll buy 3 or 4 really good players and everyone will expect to win the league immediately. You know, everyone will expect that we're challenging Liverpool and City and maybe Arsenal. And I think that we've got to, you know, there's got to be a bedding in period with a new coach and the new manager. Sorry, the new coach, the new coaches, the new players, the new setup. It's not going to just be overnight, but why not? Why can't it be? Let's see. It's early days. It's early days. So big up to you, Andy. And Roy Vicken, I said, Savva, I want to apologise for being rude to you some time ago. It was wrong of me, and time has shown that you were right in what you said. Roy, I don't remember what was said. You've got no need to apologise to me, my man. Listen, it's YouTube. People get too caught up in all this, right? We get angry. We all have a rant. We all have a row. And look, at the end of the day, Roy, it's football, isn't it? Sorry, that's terrible grammar. It's football, isn't it? It's football, ain't it? Ain't it football? So don't worry about that, my man. It's not about anyone being right. We all want the club to do well, right? There's no I told you so's. We all want the club to do well and we all want to go in the right direction. And as long as it is, as a fan base, I don't think we should be pointing fingers at each other. I don't think we should be upset with each other. We get behind it. We're always going to have different opinions, right? All football fans. But no need to apologise to me, my man. Big up to you. And thank you for the super chat. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look. There are so many of you in here. It's absolutely crazy for a Saturday morning. Where are we? Let's go to the first story. Let's have a look, shall we? Now, we heard this yesterday, didn't we? We heard this from Ben Jacobs, said exclusive. Spurs are close to finalising stadium naming rights deal with a Saudi entity, the front runner. Do you know what? When I first read this, right? Hang on, let me put myself to the side. When I first read this, I thought, oh, there's a Saudi company called the Front Runner. And then I read it back to myself and went, Savva, you're an idiot. So a Saudi company is the front runner to have the stadium naming rights, which would be a huge deal. I don't know how much, maybe what, 400-500 million? I don't know. Let me know in the chat right now what you think the stadium naming rights value might be. I don't know. I really don't know. By the way, just quickly, what is happening with the Spurs 5? Yeah, we're looking to launch on the 24th. So that's the provisional date we've got. We're just sorting out a few. You'll see why we can't go live yet. You'll see why. Little surprise for you all. You'll see why. So don't worry. It is coming. There's a lot to do behind the scenes setting up a channel, by the way. Thumbnails and logos and banners and partnership agreements. It's a lot going on. So don't worry. Back to this. Advanced talks taking place. Dealmakers have put forward 2 companies. One, a PIF subsidiary, and a second company unaffiliated. Now. For those who don't know what a PIF is, it's a public investment fund. So we'll go into that in a minute. But if you've got a public investment fund, you're talking money. So for example, the public investment fund in Qatar, or in Saudi Arabia, is worth 941 billion pounds. We'll get to that in a minute. Legalities being explored so as not to conflict with Newcastle. So, of course, we know that Newcastle are part of the PIF. So it's going to be difficult. How do you get around that? Well, do you invest in the investor? All this kind of stuff. There's lots of different ways around it. But it says nothing guaranteed yet. And I think that's the key thing for Spurs fans, right? That's the key thing I think we need to remember here. Nothing guaranteed yet. Let's not tell the world that we've been bought out, that we've got stadium naming rights. Let's keep our feet on the ground. But it says Spurs have spoken to American companies as well, but discussions are advanced. Senior government figures have been involved in talks, and there's the Saudi Arabia flag as well. So Ben Jacobs dropping that exclusive. Now, off the back of that, we did see this where Paul O'Keefe said, understand that there will be investment as well as a large sponsorship deal for Tottenham. Interestingly, the changes will see a management reshuffle as well as new roles. He's gone on to say it's likely that Levy stays, but potentially in a different stroke reduced and perhaps even non-football related role. Vinay Venkatesham's appointment and the departure of Donna Cullen were the first part of a broad realignment of the club. Remains to be seen what impact that has on the football strategy. Now, when we look at all this, it does now make sense why we did what we did last year. And what I mean by that is this, and we'll come back to that in a minute. But what I mean is this. Last season, when everyone was saying, why has Ange not been sacked? And I was in it for what, months? I was in it for over 18 months. Why has he not been sacked? Why has he not been sacked? Then when we saw the news that Vinay Venkatesham was joining as a CEO, the first thing, if you remember, the first thing that came into my head was, well, that makes sense. There's something happening in the summer. That is why the manager's not going, because they're going to have a clean sweep. There's something brewing, change of ownership, change of directors, change of all in the summer. And that is turning out to be true, isn't it? That is why when people go, oh, why wasn't he sacked? I think Spurs were waiting to do everything at once. And look what's happening. In the space of 4 weeks, Tottenham Hotspur have sacked Angepostecoglou, sacked most of his coaching staff, brought in a manager, brought in all of his coaching staff, brought in very good footballers. Charrington's come in that time as well. Vinay Venkatesham's come in. Donna Cullen's left. Now we're talking about naming rights and the club maybe being a part of the club being sold. It all adds up. So from that point of view, I think we've all got a real lesson to learn here, right? I think we've all got a lesson to learn here is that we don't always know what's going on behind the scenes. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to lose our shit. It doesn't mean we're not going to lose our minds and pretend we do. But hey, at the moment, all looks positive on that front. All looks positive on that front. Now, what do you guys make of it? Because it's quite contentious when you talk about the selling situation. Lots of fans have asked for it. But then people have certain morals that I'll take a new owner. I don't want it to be this. I don't want it to be that. I don't want it to be from this country, that country. For me, that's not my. Listen, I don't have a dog in that fight, right? I don't have a dog in that fight. For me, these are things that are beyond our control. Where the investment comes from, who the club is sold to, who puts in the money for the naming rights. So for me, I don't really get involved in that kind of political standpoint. All I care about is that it's the best deal and the best situation for the football club. So let me know right now. Is anyone bothered by that sort of thing? Like some people will be bothered that money might be coming from Saudi. Some people don't want American owners. They say, well, look at the American owners already that in other clubs. I don't care as long as they've got the best interests of the club at heart, right? I don't care. I really, really, really don't care about that sort of thing. I do care, though, that there's 800 of you in here and no one's subscribing. Smash that button. People. Come on, people. I'm putting the link in the chat right now. Come on. We're not gonna get to 20,000 by ourselves. We need everybody to pull their weight. There is the link going in right now. and I am going to pin it as well. And smash that like button. There's 800 of you in here, 257 likes. Guys, girls, this is what we've been asking for. This is what we've been asking for. We've been asking for investment in the club. We've been asking for naming rights. We've been asking for better footballers. So come on, smash the like button just for that. Let's have a little look. Was anything else said on that? I did. Right. Now, off the back of that, we got this information that, again, this is where people are going with it, that Tottenham are rumoured to be closing in on a mega naming rights and potentially part ownership deal with the world's largest oil company, Saudi Arabian giant Aramco. Right? Now, this is Aramco president and CEO Amin H. Nasser, and he is thought to be worth around $23 billion. That's not pounds. Let's just see. $23 billion in pounds. $23 billion equals 17 billion. To be fair, look, he's only worth 17 billion pounds. 17 billion pounds. Can you imagine? Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know anything about Aramco, that I know anything about the president. I don't know anything about them, right? But this is the noise that we're hearing. This is the noise. Now, I don't know if this is true. Please don't shoot the messenger. Don't sit there, oh my God, Savva said we're getting bought by Aramco. I don't know. I'm just a football fan the way that you lot are just football fans. I don't know. Sorry, I just thought there might have been some news. Where's this? Nope. Sorry, I thought it was some breaking news about Spurs, but it was an old tweet by somebody. I don't know if that will happen. I don't know about Aramco. I don't know anything about them. Let's have a look. We'll have a look together. Oh my God, I've just dropped tea all over my keyboard. Oh my gosh. What can I use? Sorry, one sec. I just dropped tea everywhere. Not hot, sticky. Yuck. Sorry, can you bear with me 1 second? Sorry, everyone. Sorry, just dropped tea everywhere, so I just need to mop that up. I got all a bit excited about the thought of billionaires coming into Tottenham Hotspur. Just bear with me 1 second. Oh, gosh, I've made a right mess here. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Right, we'll deal with that a bit later. What do we know about Aramco? I was going to Google them, wasn't I? So if I remove that from the screen, let's move that. And I'll just put this on because this is something that Perchy whipped up. The Aramco Stadium. Hey, what do you think? What do you think? Do we like this as a stadium? Would anyone like that? Does the name offend anyone? What's going on? Let's see. Let's have a look at Aramco together, shall we? Aramco. Here we go. Can I find them on Wikipedia? They've got, I mean, if they're the world's largest oil company, then surely. Right, here we go. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. Let's look at this together, shall we? Present, share screen. And there you go. The Wikipedia page for Aramco. Can you all see that? There we go. So Aramco, formerly Arabian American Oil, officially the Saudi Arabian Oil Company, is a majorly state-owned petroleum and natural gas company that is the national oil company of Saudi Arabia. As of 2024, it is the fourth largest company in the world by revenue. Wow. So Spurs might be getting bought out or stadium naming rights by the fourth biggest company on the planet. Let's have a little look down here, shall we? Let's have it. So it was founded in 1933. Oh my gosh, look at these numbers. Look at these numbers on the right-hand side. Revenue, 480 billion in 2024. Income of 206 billion net income of 106 billion. And their total equity is $440 billion. Over 75,000 employees. I don't know where to begin with this. Don't really think there's probably too much more worth looking at on that page. No, let's get rid of that. Mad. What do you make of this news? Sorry, I've been neglecting the chat, but wow. What do we make of this news? Is this good news? Is anyone completely against it? And I think this is where I am, Kicks. I always feel that wherever the money comes from, there's an element that the money's going to be a bit dirty, wherever it comes from, right? Adam has said, I don't care if it's Colombian drug money. Brilliant. Brilliant. We want Pablo Escobar's men to come in and buy us. Super cute cutie has said super rich owners mean more world-class players coming to Tottenham. So I mean, look, that's a lot of money that company's worth, right? That's a lot of money. Really, really is a lot of money. But hey, I don't really know if this is true. Somebody may have plucked that from nowhere. I don't know. I don't know. Has anyone heard any more? I don't know. Bowley's Blue Army has said morals should be respected. Listen, I'm not knocking anybody for their morals. I'm not knocking anybody for anything they believe in. I've got nothing against anyone who wants to believe in anything. It's madness. Only 23 billion. Yeah, I know. I reckon he really struggles to feed his family, don't you? Depends which dollars. Yeah, true. But yeah, it did say US dollars, but yeah. Look, it all screams too good to be true, doesn't it? Maybe it doesn't, but it all screams too good to be true. Tony has said, who cares where the money comes from? It's a big world and a global sport, and it is a big world. And you know what? Yeah, sticky keyboard. Yeah, honestly, I've got tea everywhere. It's really not good. It's really, really not good. Hang on, let me just. Oh God, I might have to get a new keyboard. Oh God, do I need a new keyboard? Oh God, guess what I'm buying later on today? New keyboard. So yeah, is it exciting? How are you feeling about it? How are you feeling about it? Is there anyone that doesn't want this? Like, is there anyone that looks and says, I don't want the stadium naming rights. I don't want that. I don't want Saudi ownership. I don't want American ownership. I want Daniel Levy and Enoch. I want Joe Lewis. Give me my Joe and give me my Daniel. That's all we want. Anyone thinking like that? It's going to be really interesting, isn't it? It's going to be very, very interesting. Aramco is bigger than Apple. I mean, it's like when you look at the size, of these organizations, to think that somebody started that on their own. Do you know what I mean? Somebody has started these companies as a one-person, one-man band, so to speak, one-woman band. And now these companies are making like 400 billion. It's absolutely crazy when you think about it. I will never call it the Aramco Stadium. By the way, that was, I don't know. I was just saying that with Aramco, maybe they want to call it Aramco. I mean, let's be fair. That design that Perchie sent to me, obviously via AI. Let's have a look at it again. I mean, Aramco would love that, right? Just spread across London is the Aramco in massive lights. I don't know. By the way, I don't know. I know as much as you lot. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know more than I know. It's mad. It's absolutely mad, isn't it? Ginger Cockerel has said, Savva. Yes, Ginger Cockerel. He said, my question is, what's in it for Aramco? Oil is oil. Oil is oil. What would they be trying to gain out of a naming rights sponsorship of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? I mean, look, I'm not an expert with this. I'm not an expert. Other people in the chat might be better. But for me, I think if we say that, why does anyone sponsor anything? Do you know what I mean? Why is the Emirates Stadium called the Emirates? Why have Emirates sponsored Arsenal? What, you know what I mean? Why does anyone sponsor anything? Like, when the alcohol companies sponsor people, you could say, well, alcohol is alcohol. What are they gaining? But it's all about visibility, isn't it? It's all about brand awareness. It's all about getting the name out there even more, isn't it? It's all about give and take. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, here's Matt. Obviously, Matt doesn't like it. They're the main sponsors of Aston Martin in F1, and they're poor, mate. They're poor at what? I need, when people say things like this, give me context. What are they poor at? What do you tell me, Matt? You tell me what you know. Oh, I'm tempted to get Matt on again. You tell me what you know, Matt. Tell me why they're poor. All I heard from people like you, Matt, was that Vinay Venkatesham done a bad job. Looks like he's doing some good things at Tottenham already. So, forgive me when I don't jump up and down immediately to believe you. All the Arsenal fans said, oh, you'll hate Vinay. Well, straight away, since Vinay's come in, we've had communication. Yeah. We're now seeing that he's going to be probably going to be running the day-to-day football operations. I just think you're making things up, Matt. Sorry. I just think you're making things up. Exactly, Gorby. Exactly. What money isn't dirty? I've got some money in the bank. Not a lot. I don't know if it's dirty. It's YouTube money. YouTube money. Don't think it's dirty, though. Arthur Sleep. I love that. Arthur Sleep. Said Aramco is heavily involved in the next fuel for cars, hydrogen. Listen, I'll be honest. I'm not going to sit and pretend I know anything about them. But hey, I'm in this camp. I'm in this school of thinking with you, Phil. Saying if it benefits Tottenham for a brighter future, yeah, F it. Let's go. Absolutely. I really don't. I don't see the problem. Hang on. I'm gonna send my link. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry. Sorry, what's going on here? Let me find the link to this show. Invite guests. No. Oh, invite guests. Yeah, copy. And let's send that to Lupo. There we go. Going to somebody just messaged me and said Aramco sponsor F1. They also sponsor Aston Martin F1 team. So we have links with the F1. It makes sense. As Spurs have a partnership with F1 too. Aramco are sponsoring a lot of sports teams and events to push their business to the Western countries. So that might be why Spurs are doing it. Oh, hang on. I've just forgot. So I'm sending Lubo the email on sales, Lubo. Blah, blah, blah. There we go. There we go. Paste Lubo. Okay, we'll get Lubo on from his holiday. Before we do that, let's have a little look. Thank you. 5 or 6 people have just subscribed in the last 5 minutes. Really appreciate that. Keep going, guys. Let's get to that 20K. Big up to Video Complete. Sophia. That said Paulinho and Robinson, and we're challenging the top 4. I agree. I'm going to show you a little bit of something about Paulinho in a minute. Now, I don't know if it's true, but wouldn't it be lovely? And agreed. I think if we can add another 2-3 good players, as well as Morgan Gibbs-White, as well as Kudus, then who knows what can be achieved. However, it's still a long way to go, and it is the manager's first year. So, he's got a lot of, I think people have got to realize there's a lot of work this man's got to come in and do. There's a lot of work that this man has got to come in and do. Let's see. There we go. Brilliant. Thank you to the other person who just subscribed. Thank you very much. Big up to you, Video Complete. Sophia. Really appreciate that. Craig Scott's come back in. General Tracks. Big up, General. He's come in and said, hit the likes, guys. We'll bring Lubo in just 1 second. Big up to you, General Tracks. What a legend. Thank you very much for your kind donation. Thank you very much, mate. SD Football has said towards a bib for Savva. Spillage. Yeah, I tell you what, if you actually want to put in another 50 quid, I actually need a new keyboard now. So I don't know if I'll be able to get one for 2 quid. I'll see if the wife wants to get me an early birthday present. My birthday's not until November. Big up to you guys. Big up to you. Thank you, SD Football. Big up to Top Doc has said, make it rain, baby. We're going to be talking to Lubo in a minute because Lubo, this must be Lubo's absolute euphoric state that it might be changing at Spurs. We'll come to Lubo in just 1 minute. Big up to you, Top Doc. Big up to Roy. Roy, who has become a channel member, and he apologised for being rude to me. I don't remember you being rude, Roy. So thank you for becoming a member. And there was no need for the apologies. I have been known to have a bit of a sharp tongue at times, so don't ever apologize. It's all good, my man. And last but not least, big up to Ian JD. Thank you very much, Ian. I said the sad fact is that we want to compete at the very top and have transfer windows like the one we are having. Then we need this investment. I think new investment is definitely coming in. Excited, Ian. I think we're seeing it already. Tottenham, to the best of my knowledge, and this is how I'm going to start off my question to Lubo. And thank you, Ian, for this. Lubo, off the back of this super chat, can you ever remember a time where Tottenham have turned around and gone, sorry, what's your release clause? Boom. One go. Done.
I can't remember one. Morning, all.
Morning.
I can't remember one situation where we've gone and met a release clause. I'm sure there are. I just can't off the top of my head.
And definitely not for 60 million.
Definitely not for 60 million. I mean, that 60 million will be subject to whatever the add-ons were for Solanke, because that was 57 plus 8 in add-ons.
Yeah.
This will be Spurs' record signing.
Yeah.
And a release clause as well. Now you wonder what's happened here. I cannot believe for 1 minute that Spurs have got involved in anything untoward where they're going to end up with a transfer ban. I can't believe that at all. So something's gone on. I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash. Let's see what happens. Will it be a situation where you've got a Van Dijk scenario where Liverpool had to go back in at Christmas for the January transfer window rather than bring him in the summer? I don't know. I mean, it should all be revealed in the next few days, shouldn't it? But sort of coming on to the big picture, just quietly...
Just get in the door. She's gone out again without taking her key. Oh, did you not carry on talking, Lubo?
No. I was having a discussion with you. Sorry, it was just to say that just waiting to see what happens with the Spurs situation, with the stadium rights, with investment. You know, is an outside party going to come in and buy a percentage? You know, will Levy be taken off the football side? Thank God, after all these years. I'll be delighted if that all happens. And you know, if you've got someone like Vinay with 14 years experience at Arsenal coming in to run the football side, and you've got money coming in that's going to be, you know, fairly distributed, because we know we've got the hotel to build, because that was part of the contract for Spurs to take on Spurs being a host for Euro 2028. So we know they've got to find 300 million there and get that hotel built. We know they want to put money into Whitewedge Park to build an NFL training grounds and a football pitch for the women's team. So, you know, if there's big investment coming in, that's going to be split across all those parts. And we've got a different person who's running the football side who knows and understands football, which is key, and also, most importantly, wants success for the football club. Then I'll be delighted.
Let me ask you then. I mean, look, I don't know if you were watching the show before you joined, but Perchy reckons something like this: the old Aramco Stadium. I mean, Lubo, it's a difficult one, right? Like, because at the moment everything's rumours, right? We know that there are talks going on in some capacity. We don't know for sure that it is Aramco, but a lot of people are now coming to that conclusion. They're the fourth biggest company in the world in terms of revenue. In terms of, in your opinion, how much does that change the game for Tottenham Hotspur? You know, is it a surefire thing that it does? Are we assuming that these owners come in and go, boom, there's endless pots of money to buy players, to give 400 grand a week? Is it a sure thing?
No, it's not, because there's PSR to work to. So Spurs have got to work within the rules. You know, it's been the same with Newcastle, hasn't it? They came in, I think, in the first 12 to 18 months, they spent 220 million. And the end result after that, you could see, was they had to sell Elliot Anderson to Forest. Minter went to Brighton last season, 12 months ago. So, you know, the big spending that Newcastle made initially did come back to haunt them a bit, and they lost two very bright youngsters. So no, Spurs can't go berserk. They can't be offering mad money. Let's see what happens. It's interesting. It's promising. Let's just say it's looking promising.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because look, there are reports. Look, if I bring up the Ben Jacobs piece from yesterday, where is he? Where is it? There it is. So Ben Jacobs is talking about. He said we're close to finalising stadium rights, but obviously that's very different to any form of takeover or buying a part of the business. At this stage, would you want it to be both? Would you want it to be that they are going to get naming rights and that they're going to buy a stake in Tottenham, or do you think it will be staggered or just one or the other?
I've got no problem either way, to be honest. You know, if they're coming in and it's going to help the football club, then fine, bring it on.
It's crazy, isn't it? Look, Lubo, we talked a lot at the back end of last season about, you know, when we were talking about why Ange hasn't been sacked, why that something's happening, and Charrington's gone in, and then Vinay's turning up. It's now all starting to look clearer. It's like we can now see the ending to the movie, so to speak. Whereas before we were all a little bit like, is there a plot twist? What's going on? And it does look like Enoch, if we, are doing what's best for the club finally, right? It feels like that. Can't say for sure, but is that how you feel, that they're finally doing what's the best for us?
Well, the value of the club must have dropped over the past year with Spurs sort of league position dropping down and down, because something's obviously happened. Something's triggered Lewis to put his main financial advisor, Peter Charrington, on the board. Now, he is reading the report that I saw, that I sent across to you last night from someone on Twitter, saying that Charrington is now in charge of Lewis's stake at Spurs. So if you look at it last year, what did we do? We bought Solanke and 4 kids. They ended up with a net spend, including wages, including a reduction in wages, of around 40 million. We finished 17th in the league. He sat by and watched Ange crash the league season. And all of a sudden, Charrington comes in, Vinay comes in. So it looks like we're getting outside investment, again, that we didn't get when Levy was running it with Rothschilds. And for whatever reason, Spurs Tottenham's an attractive club to invest in, providing all the parameters are correct. So someone as big as Rothschild couldn't get an investor in, and Lewis is looking at that thinking, what's going on here? I'm the major shareholder of an asset here, and we can't get investment from outside Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And he must have looked at that and thought, there's something very wrong here.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to point fingers, because I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, Levy's been pushed to the side. Outside investment appears to be coming in. Spurs are behaving like a proper club in the transfer market, and the whole thing has sort of just taken on a whole new look. So I won't say I was right all these years, although I should be. But it appears now as though we have somebody in charge of football. If what we read is correct, that Vinay is running the football side, we're now going to be able to hopefully negotiate with other clubs, and people aren't going to say, "Oh no, it's Tottenham. This is going to be hard graft,"
Yeah.
It's we only seem to do business with a handful of clubs, in terms of transfers. You know, Leeds are all of a sudden, we're doing a bit with them. We're doing a bit with Bayern Munich. We hadn't done any business with West Ham for 14 years. Obviously, nothing with Chelsea. I think the whole thing with Chelsea soured with Frank Arneson being poached in 2005. Very rarely do anything with Arsenal anyway. But nothing with the big clubs for a long time.
Yeah.
I think Robbie Keane, I think, was the last one, wasn't it, with Liverpool?
Yeah.
So
indeed,
you know, it appears that people just don't want to do business with Spurs. You know, Arsenal, Chelsea, and West Ham all seem to do business with each other quite on a regular basis, but no one wants to deal with us. We don't seem to have any dealings with those clubs at all. Now there has to be a reason. So
well, let's shift the conversation whilst keeping it on those lines, if that makes sense. Hold that thought. Let me do a couple of super chats. I've got a good question for you. I think it's a good question. We'll see. Big up to Mark, who's put in a super sticker. Thank you very much, Mark. He's just become a channel member in the last couple of weeks as well. So big up to you, buddy. Thank you very much for your support as always. I really, really do appreciate you. And if Mark can stick money in, you lot can subscribe. Come on. 20,000 is within sight. We've got to get to the 20,000 before the PSG game in a month's time. We've got to get to the 20,000. We've got to get there. Big up to you, Mark. Thank you very much. Chi Pen has said, if this goes ahead, do we finally thank Mr. Levy? I don't know what you'd be thanking Levy for. Lubo, how do you interpret that? If this goes ahead, it wouldn't be Levy wouldn't it be Charrington probably doing the negotiation on that, not Levy? Yeah,
it will be Charrington doing the negotiation. The one thing I would say is that in terms of the grounds and the training grounds, then Tottenham is the best turnkey operation for purchasing in the Premier League, because that's all done.
Yeah.
Sorted, and somebody can come in and then just concentrate on building the football side back up. So in terms of the turnkey operation, but then yes, you give Levy credit for that, albeit you've got to remember that he is doing it for ENIC. It's not for us or the football club. It's purely for ENIC. So I think that I have to caveat that, as much as people say, "Oh, Lugo, you actually got there. You actually gave him credit." Everything's for him and for ENIC. Let's not forget that. But yes, what he has created in terms of the grounds and the training ground is a situation. You know, Everton have just spent a fortune. I think they've just spent 800 million. Is it on 800 million on the grounds? God knows what United would have to spend on theirs. Chelsea have to buy. You know, if Chelsea want to compete properly, you know, within PSR, etc., and not have to do these 8-year transfer deals that I'm sure I saw was being outlawed by the Football League and the Premier League. They will have to spend big money. We don't have that. Nobody has that. The ground's there. It's done. So an investor can come in and say, "Great, do you know what? I can invest in the club and take naming rights at the same time. Maybe the investment is for both. Maybe it's a dual investment, you know." So they're saying, you know, we may be only 25% shareholders now, but the ground's named after us, and this is the start.
So, well, Lubo, I like what you said. Someone who didn't is this man. Sean has said, "You've been entirely wrong from day one, Lubo." He's in.
I think Sean, you'll understand how right I've been now, and you know how things all of a sudden seem to be turning around very quickly for Spurs now that Levy's no longer the CEO. So I look forward to the Spurs 5. I look forward to Sean coming on and saying, "Lubo, you were right all the time." You know, listen, no problem for me. I don't mind. I'm not gonna gloat, Sean. Don't worry.
On that No, thank you for the super chat, Chai Pen or Chi Pen. Big up to my man Gary out there in Ireland. Hope you're well, Gary. Hope you enjoyed your little trip abroad. I think it was France you've just come back from. Hope you enjoyed. See, I remember all these things. It's all up there. How we spend it, not how we get it, that matters. Listen, I think that's the same with anything. Look, as I said, I'm not one to go into politics. I'm not going to start having conversations about where the money's coming from. And I remember the best answer that I saw about all this was when Newcastle were being bought. And Eddie Howe said, I'm going to say this once and once only. He said, I'm a football manager. He said, if you want to talk politics, you go and ask other people. He said, I want to talk about football. Right. And that's what this channel is. We want to talk about football. Big up to you, Gary. I completely agree with you. Let's see how we spend the money. Big up to Neil Kingswell. Said, top man, Savva, cheers for all the content. No, thank you for watching. Me, it's my job. For you, hopefully you enjoy it. So thank you very much. And speaking to Sean about it yesterday, it's all a bit crazy because at the moment there's so much news that we end the show and think, I'll have a couple of hours off. And then you go, oh, shit, something's happened. Right, fire the computer back up. We're going live. And listen, you lot love it. We love it. It's our life, right? Tottenham is a huge part of our life. So big up to you, Neil. Thank you very much. And Patrick McCory, always very, very, very generous. Big up to you, Patrick. Said, good morning, Savva and Lubo. It is great to see us finally acting like a big club. Well, listen, I think that we are acting like a big club. Obviously, I think that we need to, morning, Sean, I think obviously we need to wait and see what happens. But before we go back to that stuff, unless Sean, unless you want to carry on with that conversation, I was going to move to some player stuff, but do you want to?
No, I literally only got 10 minutes. I wanted to come in and just quickly mud Lubo a little bit.
Go
if that's
go
okay.
for it. But big up, Patrick. Thank you very much. What I will say is there's 1,000 of you in here. If Patrick can stick in $20, you lot can smash a like button. Please subscribe to Spurs Talk Show as well, even though he's on about 700,000 subscribers now, is Shawnee. Keep subscribing to him. Help him grow. Help me grow. We'll grow. Sean, we'll grow together. We'll grow together, Sean. How about that?
Sounds good to me,
Sean,
mate. Sounds good to me.
Listen, he's looking a bit shiny on holiday there. He looks very relaxed and chilled. I feel he needs a bit of mudding.
Angry, mate. He's looking a little bit angry. He's like that red face that pops on, that Hulk smash that comes on when Levy's name comes up. I think that he's just had a permanent situation out there, mate. Because listen, I don't know how you're trying. You accused me yesterday of being Alistair Campbell, the doctor of spin from politics, mate. I think you're Shane Warne with the way that you're spinning this one, mate, into somehow you being right. Our boy has done unbelievably well. Unbelievably well. You don't think that these negotiations started in March, do you? Come on now. The negotiations have taken a long time. Daniel Levy might have been, maybe we don't know, might have been told to sort of step out the way for the final conclusion. But these stories started a long time ago. It's as audacious a take to remove Daniel Levy from the credit for getting us to the position we're in and then handing over to someone who's now ready to take us from a 3 billion club to a 7 billion club. And the next step, by the way, no disgrace to take a club from 25 million to 3 billion. But if he realizes, the people behind him realize that it's now time for other people to come in with a little different appetite, a little different approach to talking at the big boy tables, that's no disgrace, by the way. But if you're sitting there thinking that all of this started when Daniel Levy, when Charrington first came in, and it didn't happen before that, but Charrington's came in as the cherry on top, that is as audacious as Change for Tottenham taking credit for Donna Cullen, and also for this, and also for Morgan Gibbs-White, and also for Mohamed Kudus. The shameless audacity of credit taking from some people in a spin which is a positive spin when you lot have been so unbelievably negative for the last 3 years that I've known you is actually just shamelessness personified. It's not even, it's shameless squared. It's shameless cubed. It's, I don't know, it's X to the power of shameless, mate. It's insane. I don't know how you sleep at night, waking up every morning and coming out with this claptrap, taking credit, taking things away from the boy that got us in the position. Lubo, get some more sun or get a little less sun, but change something. Your current environment, buddy, is not making your logic loops work very well at all, my man. You're losing all sorts of credibility here.
Sean, Sean, I just think it's brilliant. Great. I mean, that's brilliant. You should be at the Comedy Store. because you would wow the audiences. I've got to tell you, I'm very chilled. I'm not getting upset. I'm only red because I've not put any suntan lotion on, which I should be doing.
Look after your skin, mate.
For my head, I should be. You're quite right. You're quite right. I've got to go and put some suntan lotion on in a minute. But it's funny actually, Sean. You can't deny that, you know, all of a sudden Charrington comes on board, and who has got the most phenomenal network of billionaires, I was told, and all of a sudden, bang! People are now coming on. You know, potentially. You know, we're just speculating because I'm not involved, as you know, Sean. If you're not there in the room, it's all subjective because of what you're hearing. But if what we are hearing is true, then within 3 months of Charrington coming on board, we've got investment coming in. So we didn't have investment for a year when Levy was CEO. So listen, those are the facts.
Are you suggesting that as of April that there was nothing had been done, and in the last 2 months we've now suddenly got 300 million quid in sponsorship deals coming in and 150 million into the bank?
Well, listen, if somebody comes on board, and if talks have been going on over the past 2 or 3 months, and they've been talks that have been going, no, 2 or 3 months. If this is one of Charrington's contacts,
there was shares issued in December. We've been speaking about this for like 8 months, mate. It's clear that I've been saying it since December of last year. Something is happening. It's absolutely unequivocally clear. The NDAs that were signed in January, this is not something that has just started with Charrington. Charrington might have been brought in to finish the job, and congratulations to him. And maybe he knows people. And, you know, Joe Lewis maybe is getting frustrated with Daniel Levy moving the goalpost. All those things might be true. I'll absolutely lean into that possibility 100%. But the notion that Charrington started the ball rolling in April and that by July that we are suddenly there with a £300 million sponsorship deal. It's just, we've been looking for a naming rights partner for 3 years, for 5 years. So, like, these things didn't just start. They might be finalized now, but the process started a long time ago, mate. To take away the credit for that,
it should have been, Sean, we should have had naming rights in place for when the ground was open, like Arsenal did with Emirates.
But Arsenal got absolutely ramrodded on that deal.
No, but we didn't need to get. If you're saying that that's a bad deal for Arsenal, okay. But you know what? Why? Because they have a bad deal, would Levy take a bad deal? Maybe Levy was asking for too much, which is why we haven't had a naming rights for the last 6 years.
But according to if the reports are true, then we've got more money than what Daniel Levy was looking for the whole time.
Well, good. Well done, Charrington.
Oh, there you go, mate. Shane Warne over there. Get that left arm over the wicket,
listen, Listen, Mr. Campbell, Mr. Alistair Campbell. I'm very chilled. You're not going to upset me.
No,
I'm very happy.
I'm not trying to upset you. Where I'll meet you in the middle, mate. Where I'll meet you in the middle is I don't know who it is that's negotiated the or that figured out the Morgan Gibbs White thing. Mm-hmm. But as I said on my previous show, it's a lot easier to spend other people's money than it is to spend your own. Coming from someone who's worked with other people's money and also traded with my own, the levels of risk, the appetite, the scariness of when it goes the wrong way, it's a lot easier to do it with other people's money and to take and to lump on. What I do think is that Daniel Levy has no experience in going in with good faith in a negotiation. And so when he's probably sitting there going, oh, Morgan Gibbs White's available, he's probably like, well, if I go in for Nottingham Forest and try to negotiate this, that Marinakis guy is an absolute bozo. Do you know what? Is there any way we can get this done real quick? Like, when was the last time we ever triggered a release fee? Like, when was that? Was it Toby Alderweireld? I think that might be the last time we ever triggered a release fee. That's how long ago we're talking. So I don't know if Daniel Levy was responsible for that or who it was, but we would, especially if it's a triggering without the chance to even negotiate, then on that basis, you would imagine that the entire money has gone up front. The entire money has gone up front.
I think it is. I think traditionally, if you meet a release clause, I think there is no negotiation regarding amortization. It's a pure one-off payment.
Right.
I've been told. So yes, there's 60 million, and they did it the right
depends
way.
What's written in the clause, Lubo.
That's right.
You can have a release clause at 60 million.
You're quite
but there
right.
might be addendums to that say, addendums, an addendum attached to that says, yes, it's 60 million, but it must be paid in no more than two parts over 1 year, for example.
Sure.
And this is what I believe, better minds like yours might tell me, but this is what I believe that Forest are upset about, is that apparently we knew the exact number and the exact way to trigger it. So I don't believe that this was an upfront 60 million. I believe that there was something specific that we have triggered, and they're saying we would have no way of knowing that. But I just thought I'd chuck that in.
I would imagine that the clause would dictate the payment structure. And I don't know, as I was talking to Johnny about this yesterday, and Johnny was like, "Oh, there are NDAs that are put into contracts."
Correct, that's right.
For release fees. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. He's like, I assure you that there are. I was like, fair enough, but the logic, just if it's true, it's fine. I'm not saying it might, but the logic of having a release fee that can't be ever known by anybody. What is the point of having the release fee then? What's the point of having the clause if no one can ever know about it? It doesn't make any sense on a logical basis.
Sean, does it not work that if there's a release clause in there, and we're talking about Morgan Gibbs White, then if Tottenham made an approach to Forest, they could then put in writing, is there a release clause attached to his contract? And they would need to honestly reply back. And at that point, Tottenham then become aware of the release clause and what it is.
Lupo, can I just say what I don't have an India.
Sorry, go on, Sam. Sorry, mate.
So I was just going to say, what I don't get about all this is, look, I do think this deal will get done. Let's talk about this subject now. I do think this deal will get done. But what I don't get about it is he's got a release clause. The release clause has been paid. So what Nottingham Forest are essentially saying is, oh, well, because Tottenham knew the release clause, it's not fair because they might have bid more. Essentially, it's, they might have gone in for more. At what point do they think that Tottenham are going to rock up for Morgan Gibbs White and their opening offer was going to be above 60 million? Do you know what I mean? At what point do they think that
they're angry about? Like, even if it's just the idea of, you're supposed to follow the etiquette of talking to the club first. Like, sorry, like every single story that breaks from Ornstein or Romano starts with such as club A is interested in player X. Yeah. The player wants to join. Personal terms will be no problem. Club to club talks now begin. Like that is the template, template tweet that gets put out for people that know. If the ITKs know, then the agents are letting that out. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like this pretense that tapping up is not something that happens all day, every day.
The other thing also,
what would be the point of going to a club? And also just quickly, even the notion of like, it could be done the other way where you go and ask permission, then you go and speak to the player. And if they want to do it, then you go back to the club. What happens in situations then when you see Tottenham are interested in whoever, selling club says he's not for sale at any price. Player wants move. Right? Like Bayern Munich for Luis Diaz. Liverpool have no intention of selling him. Yet Luis Diaz has made his mind up. He's agreed terms. He's agreed the wages, everything wants to go. But Liverpool said he's not for sale. How has the rest of that story happened? If Liverpool says he's not for sale, they're not also going to give you permission to speak to the player, are they? So, like, whatever that guy is talking about, Marinakis, it's just sour grapes and a crybaby sort of nonsense. But more importantly, that notion that there's a clause in the contract that has an NDA attached to it, it just, I've said it 1,000 times, so I'm sick in the teeth. All I ever want to hear from people, I don't care where you land, but just land on something that makes sense. Tell me how you get there. And when people say NDAs do exist, and it's not like a crack at Johnny, because Johnny knows he's got his mate and stuff, but I'm saying that idea doesn't make any sense to me, that there would be a clause inserted, but that no one can know about it. It's just weird. It's just such a silly thing.
From reading the chat, though, what I think some people have got to understand the difference here is when it's saying that we spoke to the player illegally, it's not that we've spoken to the player. You would have to speak to the player via the agent. It would be impossible that we've not had that contact, whether it's direct or indirect. The problem that they're stating is that the player and the agent would be the only ones who know what the actual terms of the release clause are. And that if that is an NDA, they weren't allowed to release that information to Tottenham. If that's the case, isn't that them more on the agent? Isn't that them more on the agent? I mean, but why do Forest care? It's been paid. Like, they've got their £60 million.
You put that clause into the contract, so you wanted that money in.
Yeah. That's like me saying, I'm selling my house for £1 million. I'm selling my house for £1 million, right? I agree £1 million with a buyer, and then the next day after all the contracts are signed, we're about to go through, the final stages, and I go, hang on, they've only given me $1 million. Hang on.
How did you even know the house was up for sale? You shouldn't have known that.
Yeah, how did you know it was worth £1 million? How did you? By the way, my house is not worth £1 million. Just saying.
Not yet, mate. Inflation.
Not yet.
Couple of things just on this and the previous subject. Number one, if Marinakis wanted the release clause kept confidential, so Spurs offered and he accepted, say for argument's sake, 70 million. Then if it came out that he had deliberately withheld that information about the release clause, then Spurs could sue Forest for non-disclosure. So he would be absolutely stupid to go down that path if that was the route he thought he was taking.
Do you think he might not have known about it, Lubo? Do you think Marinakis might not have known about this contract?
Yeah, that makes more sense to me.
It was before his time, because Lubo, let's look at this honestly, right?
He would know.
But hang on, let me just throw a theory. The fact that we've had the here we go, the fact that the clubs would have been in talks, right? The clubs would have been in talks to get to medical stage, right? For it to get to a medical, the clubs have to talk to each other. So at what point did Nottingham Forest turn around and go, yeah, he's got his medical tomorrow? And then at what point did they wake up the next day and go, hang on, we've now suddenly got a problem with this? Because they would have known. This is why it doesn't make sense to me, Lubo. They would have known that he was having a medical, and they would have agreed to it.
I don't think he necessarily would have known. Like, he might have people in his team. He's got like 4 clubs to look after, right? So when he's really angry, he's really angry with people in his own staff that wrote that contract. I'm like, you did what? You did what?
Yeah.
60 million.
Very strange. Very, very strange that a player you buy for 42 million, you only put a 60 million release clause in. I mean, that's not even the 50% profit.
And especially when Wolves still had a big chunk of selling.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way,
I'm giving full credit to Daniel Levy on this one, because he can sniff out a bargain. He's been spending most of his days looking on Y-Scout for French players because he thinks there's some bargains out there. But then suddenly someone went, mate, there's a real bargain you can get in, even though we don't need him, even though he doesn't solve a problem we currently have, even though he's not really a 10, he's kind of an 8, but he's been shoehorned. He's not really what we need, but he's a valuable player, and he's someone that is certainly worth more than 60 million. Should we take the deal? And Daniel Levy's, it's a well done, Daniel Levy. My chairman.
While we're on that subject, Sean, let's ask Lubo. While we're on that subject, right? Let's ask Lubo. So far,
sorry, go on.
What I've heard from Lubo, right? This is what I love about you, Lubo. Is when we signed Takai, it was when we signed Tell and Takai, it was these are Levy signings, terrible. This is what Levy does.
No, I don't think Takai was a Levy signing, Sam. I don't think he was.
Okay, all right. But when we signed Gibbs White and Kudus, you could tell now Daniel Levy's got nothing to do with these transfers. then when there's an issue with Morgan Gibbs White, it's got Levy all over it. This has
no. What was the first? Hang on. That's wrong.
Levy out.
Correct.
Oh, he's about to react. He's about to react.
Dad, now correct yourself. What was the first thing I said when I came on today? There's no way Levy is involved. There's no way Levy is involved in this. That's what I said, didn't I?
How is there no way he's involved in this? How is there no way he's involved in this?
What, in tapping up Gibbs White? I don't think Levy's done anything wrong.
Gibbs White's agency is CAA Stella, but still under the CAA relationship. Do you think that CAA Base's relationship with Tottenham, CAA's relationship with Tottenham started in March when Charrington got involved? Or do you think it started in April when Vinay got here? Or did it start about 3 or 4 years ago when Paratici and Daniel Levy got together and started to forge a decent relationship with one of the biggest and best agencies?
Let me answer you very
Is there
simply.
any chance, mate, that maybe Charrington and Vinay don't have a clue about anybody at the CAA team, whereas Daniel Levy and Paratici and Johan Lang maybe just do? Is there any chance of this one actually?
This is a turn up for the books because I'm supporting Levy and you're going against me here. What's going on, Sean?
How am I going to Levy out?
Going against my chairman.
No,
my chairman.
I'm supporting your chairman, and you're criticising me.
How am I criticising him?
You are, because Marinakis has accused Tottenham Hotspur of tapping up the player. I don't believe Levy has tapped up the player.
But I don't believe he has either.
I don't believe that when this comes out, that Levy will be found guilty. I don't think that will happen in any shape or form. So you're arguing. I'm actually I'm actually saying Levy's not to blame here.
No, but Levy is to take credit for finding an unbelievable valued player and bringing him in, even though I don't think we need him necessarily, but he's still an unbelievable player.
Oh, I do. I think we need him. You can never have enough good players, Sean.
So this is another signing that Tottenham Hotspur have made under Daniel Levy that you're incredibly happy with, yet you still hate the owner.
No, another signing made by Thomas Frank under the stewardship of Peter Charrington and Vinay.
He's not been. Levy's nowhere. Levy's nowhere. It's funny, isn't it? Because a lot of people, by the way, guys, we're talking about Vinay. A lot of people, when he joined, they straight away went, "No, the Arsenal fans hate him. The Arsenal fans told us he's rubbish." I don't see what he's done bad so far. The communication seems to be getting much better. We seem to be buying better players. We seem to be moving quicker. Vinay seems, I don't know, it's early days, but Vinay seems like he's doing some nice stuff at Spurs. And by all accounts, it looks like he's going to take the day-to-day football operations away from Levy, which is what people wanted. So
who hired Lugo, are you giving credit for the hire to Charrington?
Charrington, I think, brought him in. Charrington or Lewis have brought Vinay in.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Donna Cullen picked her successor. Donna Cullen.
So just so I'm entirely clear, does the buck stop at the top for the good finally with you? Because it never used to. It used to only stop at the top for the bad. When it was good, it was either luck or it was someone else's area. But now that there's good things happening, the buck finally does actually stop at the top. It's just not the top that you think it is. It's someone else's top.
Sean,
it's Joe Lewis now, is it?
Sav just mentioned, Vinay's in charge. We're buying good players. What a change now. Now that you've got somebody in charge of football who knows what they're doing, what a difference. It's 25 years nearly. But, it's been a very long 25 years. It seemed like 55 years at times.
Can I throw a theory at you, Lubo?
Sorry?
Can I throw a theory? Sure. Maybe, couldn't it just be that Daniel Levy, just devil's advocate, could it be that we're seeing better players being signed now because the money is there and the money wasn't there before for Daniel Levy to just go out and do these things? I'm just devil's advocate, because we've never, ever, ever, to my knowledge, slapped down a £60 million release clause, and that deal seemed to be done very, very quickly.
I'll answer you on that one, Sav. Let me answer you on that one.
Here we go.
We are the most.
Mane.
We are the most. We are the most. We are the most profitable Premier League club since the Premier League started. And to quote our friend Connor, Levynomics, that I know Sean loves having on his show quite a lot. I know Sean has the highest respect for Connor. Connor has said that we are over 1 billion behind over the last few years. We are over 1 billion less net spend than any of the other five. So, it was Levy chose not to spend the money. Please, let's be very clear about this. He had the choice whether to spend or whether to not spend. When Bruno Fernandes was there, he chose not to meet the release clause. When Ruben Diaz was there,
organically and sustainably, you mean?
No, listen, the money's there, Sean. If they'd have bought those players,
I do love Connor. I absolutely love Connor to pieces. He's very, very, he's a great guy. But he said last night that Tottenham can spend £500 million without breaking PSR, and that's not true.
No, I think I read 390. I think he said 390.
I've crunched all the calculations, and I even used Grok to verify my calculations on Grok 4, the latest version. And it took about 45 minutes for Grok to finally give me the answer. And it reckons we got 290.
Is it 290? Okay.
Which is much closer to my number. Okay. But I love trying pieces. But I think sometimes there's always a little bit of with everybody, not just him, obviously with everybody, there's a little bit of bias that seeks into the analysis, you know.
Like you, Sean, you're not biased, are you?
No, me as well. 100%. Everyone is. Everyone. It's very difficult as a human being to divorce your emotions from a conversation, for sure. Yeah. But as I say, Lubo, I can't wait for the Spurs 5 to start.
Oh, me too.
I can absolutely bury you in all of the reasons why Tottenham Hotspur are about to explode, and it's not in spite of Daniel Levy. It's because of the incredible sustainable model that he has built. The patience that he showed. He's waited for the market to turn into a seller's market. He's waited until there's absolute quality available for about 50, 60 million. That wouldn't have been the case last year or the year before that. He has timed everything to perfection. He's on the back of a Europa League win, the biggest trophy win in 41 years. And everything is absolutely hunky-dory. Now, I would love to stay and tell Alex why he's wrong about whatever he's about to say, but I actually have to go. So.
Sean, you have got to get in touch with number 10 because Keir Starmer needs a spin doctor.
Fantastic.
Spin that man.
I love that.
That man out of number 10 in about 5 seconds.
Thank you. You got some balls. At last, you got some balls, Ian, because honestly, I was just worried about you, bro. I was really worried about you because this guy was literally making mincemeat out of you, bro.
No,
honestly.
He
was. The politician. Sean. My gosh,
Alex!
I appreciate that. For once, Alex said something that was half truth and half nonsense.
Hardcore.
I was making mincemeat out of you, Ian, but I'm not a flip flop, nor am I a politician. I'm just someone that brings in a little bit of logic.
What was it that you said last time? Flexible thinking, wasn't it?
Flexible thinking. That's right.
Flexible thinking. I remember that. And when that time I was on stream with you, I think it was when Ange got it was during that parade. I gave you credit about Daniel Levy. You were saying, I've got the tapes to see it. I've got the clip. You're saying, no, Alex, don't say that. Don't say that, Alex. No. I wasn't doing that. No, I wasn't doing that. No, I've got the tapes to see it.
What did I say?
When I gave you credit for Daniel Levy, right?
Yeah.
Said, no, I wasn't saying that though. No, I don't want to say that. No, I don't want to say that, Alex.
Still, box office is making me.
No, I don't want to say that. No, you completely went back on yourself.
Two problems. One is I would never not take credit for anything if it's being thrown my way, right? Two is maybe you didn't detect sarcasm. Yeah, there's the Sumas in the background.
It's sarcasm then. So which guy look at the tape then?
I certainly, if you were giving me credit for something I didn't, if you were giving me credit for something I didn't say, then maybe I would like, well, don't do that, Alex, because you're making things up. But if you're giving me credit, I'll always receive it. Always, I love a bit of credit. It's lovely.
Yeah, you did.
Send me the clip. Send me the clip. I can't remember the clip.
I'll send you the clip, and you went back on yourself. Dan was there as well.
On myself. What are we talking about?
Yes, you did. You said no. I didn't say that, Alex. No, it's like you just like you were worried. You're worried because you're like thinking, you know what's going to happen if it doesn't happen with Daniel Levy, because you know that you know how many people don't like Daniel Levy. By the way, you know.
And I've been right for 4 years. I'm pulling out my receipts. I'm taking my plaudits. It's about time everybody said, "Well done, Sean." You never doubted him. You never doubted the guy. You never doubted him.
You weren't taking the plaudits there, weren't you? You see what I'm saying?
I want to know what tapes Alex has got.
Yeah, I don't know what tapes you've got, mate.
Tapes
Hang on, Sav.
Are you in touch with the hackers?
I've got the clip because I remember it, and I was like watching it. I was like, Sean, what you're talking about? You've been always talking about Daniel Levy. You've been having a guy at Stelios about it as well.
I'm always having a guy at Stelios. I defend against irrational arguments, 100%. Yeah,
irrational arguments now. Oh, is it just flexible thinking again? You know what I mean? I'm sorry, Sean. This is what you do. This is what you do because this is what the politician does. They always are right because they always are 2 steps ahead. That's what you do all the time with this situation. So
I'm 2 steps ahead. I am 2 steps ahead of you, and I'm 2 steps ahead of Lubo, and 2 steps ahead of most people in any conversation. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Because you can flip it all over. You know what I mean?
Sean, you take your receipt.
2 steps ahead, for sure.
Sean, I look forward to at the end of this season, please God, you'll turn around to me and you'll say, Cool, Lubo. What a difference Charrington and Vin have made taking over from Levy. What a difference. You were right.
What a position that Daniel Levy got us in. What a position Daniel Levy has built for us. The patient, slow, steady progress. Daniel Levy wanted to get one trophy. He wanted to get one trophy organically, get that trophy off his back, get that European pedigree without having to break the rules, without having to steal, without having to lie, without having to cheat, without having to go and rob Peter to pay Paul, sell your left arm to your right arm and loan it back. Do it all by ourselves without the help of anybody else. And then once he's got that, he then goes, all right, now I've done that. Now I've proven my bit. Now I've done it. I've said I did what everyone said I was never going to do. Now I'm happy to hand over and let someone else take over and go again. But by the way, I've left you with a hell of a lot of wiggle room. I've left you with a sponsorship.
By the way, I've got Connor messaging me saying, tell Sean I'm not wrong on the PSR thing, by the way. You laugh out loud. Someone's texted him saying Sean's mentioned him on the show. By the way, Sean, could somebody...
You're getting roasted, Sean. You're getting roasted, boy.
Could somebody please...
Getting roasted?
You're getting roasted here.
The host is speaking. The host is speaking.
Lubo.
Could somebody please explain to my mate Matt what a CEO of a business does? I love this. He just helps sign off on deals. He has no input in the players we get or the prices we get them for. He's a businessman, not a football man. Ask the Arsenal fans. Matt, were you not there when Vinay on camera said, I'm going to be running the day-to-day operations of the football? Are you not right? Do you not know what a CEO of a business does? He just helps sign off deals. I mean, brilliant. Every good CEO is worth billions of pounds because they just help sign off a few deals. Anyone wanna put this? Sorry, I'm losing the will to live.
Is he a kid though?
Let the spin doctor.
No, he's
put
26.
Right. Go on, Alistair. You answer that one.
Go on, Sean. Why must we credit Vinay for anything?
Alex for a minute. Sorry, I thought Alex was the doctor of spin. I don't know what's going on there. I thought I didn't see it. I didn't see what it said.
Is that the
Why
best
must we credit Vinay though? He just helps sign off deals, and he has nothing to do with football.
Well, I mean, the CEO of a business does everything for what it's worth. They have to oversee everything. They rubber stamp everything. They're head of strategy. They are the kind of the kingmaker. But in the case of Vinay so far, I mean, he's had his feet under the table. He started his first day at the club was about 3 weeks ago. So I don't know how much credit that he should get thus far. Like I say, I think the things that are happening are stories that, like, it's not like Tottenham Hotspur weren't looking at Morgan Gibbs-White a year ago. It's not like, I don't know when they became aware of the story, right? But Mohamed Kudus was wanted by Tottenham a long time ago. So, like, we don't know. We're here to speculate. So, yes, on one point, Matt, Vinny is in charge of everything going forward, allegedly, right? But he did say he's going to be walking lock and step with Daniel Levy. Nothing will happen at the club unless they're both in agreement. So on that basis, Lubo, you're in the mud again. But on the idea of how much involvement did Vinny have in what's happened the last couple of weeks, I would probably make the argument that he hasn't had too much, because most of the things that have been happening in terms of... You can
see the comms, though. You can see the comms is definitely changed since Vinay has arrived at this football. The communication coming out of the football club. There's
been one video. It's been one video, right?
No. I'm not talking about just a video, but just in terms of, I feel like we never get this much information. Information's going out to the Ben Jacobs of this world, to these people. I just think that when we turn around and go, he's not a football man. I don't know how people can say that he's running the day-to-day operations of football at Tottenham.
I know. But he's only been in the club since the 8th of June, right? So it's been 3-4
but
weeks.
we knew he was hired months before that. Are you telling me you don't think he was doing anything in the background or had any say on?
I'm not sure. You can make the same argument for Paratici, but all of the signings that we've had have been absolute silence. Suddenly we're talking. Suddenly we're signed. None of that is Paratici style. That's all very much Johan Lang style. So you could make the same argument that just because they're on gardening leave or consultancy bases or whatever, that therefore they're involved, and maybe they are, but certainly they don't. Like the things that we're seeing in terms of transfers doesn't have any kind of doesn't have a smell of Paratici about it in my opinion, it has a smell of Johan Lang about it. But like I say, I think the things that have happened recently, and by the way, the stories that are being linked with people like Ben Jacobs and all that stuff, it's very coincidental that as soon as like there's nothing about any of that stuff for ages, and then the second that we sign a second player in 2 days, one of them being a triggering, you haven't got to be an ITK. You don't have to be an ITK to do some joined up thinking. That if Tottenham only had £79 million of cash in the bank as of the last set of results, and we've gone out and paid 55 for Kudus and then 60 up front in all likelihood for Morgan Gibbs-White, plus Takai, plus Danzo, plus yada yada yada, all that money coming out of the club, you haven't got to be a rocket scientist to suddenly go, there's obviously an investment. The second that Morgan Gibbs-White was announced, I jumped on. As soon as I put a video out, I said, the first thing out of my mouth, this is absolute clear as day that there is an investment that's coming in. 2 hours later, Ben Jacobs started saying the same thing. 2 hours later, Romano and all other people were saying it.
Oh, sure.
I don't think that's ITK stuff. I think that's just people jumping on an obvious story.
Sure. Can I just say, Sean, I know you need to go just quickly before you do. And I will get some super chats in a minute because there is a massive, massive super chat sitting there waiting. I've not missed it, Ethan. Of there. Just quickly, this is somebody who gets everything right. This guy is very well respected. He was one of the first ones to break that Ange had been sacked and that Frank was coming in. Sasha Tavalieri, if you don't follow him on X, follow him. He's very good. I said, despite having been in contact with Fenerbahce and attracting interest from AC Milan and Juventus, Ibasuma has expressed his desire to stay at Tottenham.
Yeah.
Or at least in the Premier League this summer. No interest at Olympique Marseille yet. I think that, Olympique Marseille. Just before you go, Sean, I know you do need to. I'll go to you first, and then you can drop off, and I'll go to the others. This is a problem, isn't it? When I'm not saying he's definitely going to stay, but when players want to stay, it does suddenly change the narrative a lot in terms of we need to get rid of players. If they don't want to go, this becomes this is difficult, right? If they don't want to leave the club.
Yeah, he's got one left on his contract. Sonny's got one left on his contract. You're seeing the same thing with Ibrahim Konate, same thing with Mark Gahey, same thing with Jadon Sancho, same thing with Casemiro. It seems to be a trend that people are running down their contracts now and they don't want to go. They're digging their heels in the sand like Bugsy when it's time to go home from walkies because they know that they're going to get probably a nice juicy offer from Saudi in 12 months' time, or they'll get £500,000 a week or whatever. So, I've been saying this for ages on the channel. I said I think that there's a cop blocking situation that's happening. Richarlison's, I think, has got 2 years left on his contract, but he doesn't want to go. At the end of the day, yes, it's a real problem. If you can't move these players on, then you can't really bring any more in because you end up with a bloated squad of players that aren't playing but picking up $100,000 a week. What you can, I think, the only thing you can do is to bring in the signings anyway, and then say, look, this guy's in front of you. In the case of Bissouma, if we brought in an Adam Wharton or a Polina or whoever, Douglas Luiz, this guy's in front of you. Kudus is probably going to play as an 8 quite a lot. Bentancur's in front of you. Sarr's in front of you. Bergval's in front of you. You're not going to be playing here, mate. So it's in your best interest to go out. Even if it takes to go out on loan with a loan fee or something, then so be it. But if he's saying I'm not going, go, well, okay, well then you can train with the kids. You can sort of lean the pressure on, but you can lead a horse to water, mate, but you can't make him drink it.
Yeah. Are you staying? Are you going? Just
I've got to go. Love you guys. See you soon. Nice burying you.
Don't forget the phone number 10, Sean.
With you. Box office.
Sean, don't forget to ring number 10.
See you guys.
What am I supposed to say to him?
See you later, mate. Just quickly before I continue talking, we're going to move to the football side of things now, away from the ownership and stuff. We're going to look at some rumours and some talk a bit more Gibbs White and stuff. Before I do, guys and girls, there's 1,078 people in here. Smash the like button. And for the person in the chat who said, Savva, maybe people would smash the like if you didn't ask all the time. This is how you promote your own business, right? This is my version of marketing. YouTubers need likes. So I'm not going to apologize for asking for likes. We should be on 700-800 likes. So smash that button. Please do subscribe as well. We're closing in that 20K. It's not too far away. Big up to, where should we start? Big up to Daniel Field, who's chucked in a super sticker. Very generous as always, Daniel. Much love to you, my friend. Thank you very much for your generosity. Really appreciate that. General Trax has come in again and said, keep Forest happy, 60 million and Brian Hill. I don't know if that will keep Brian Hill happy, but big up to you, General Trax. I'm not sure that's going to fly, but thank you. Winston Lawrence has said, exciting times ahead. Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely, Winston. It's looking positive. We'll see if it all materializes, but it is looking positive. Big up to you, Winston. Thank you very much. Ethan has has been a member for 10 months. He said, congratulations on the 19K, mate. Road to 20. We're getting there. And Ethan, mate, massive super chat, £50. Big up to you, my man. Very, very generous. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. It is very much appreciated. He has said, surely a release clause must be mutually beneficial for both the player and the selling club, i.e. the club is satisfied with the amount being received and the player should be allowed to leave. What is the benefit for Morgan Gibbs-White if the element of secrecy is true? Lubo, he's got a bloody good point. It's got to work both ways. And as far as I can see, other than Marinakis, it has worked both ways. Forest have got £60 million. Tottenham have got the footballer they want. So what is the point of a secret release clause in a contract? Who does that benefit?
Well, that's right. And the other point I made before was that if Spurs had a bid, Spurs weren't made aware of the release clause and had an offer of 70 million accepted, and then the release clause came out afterwards, then Forest could be done for non-disclosure because it's in the contract. I'm sure it probably wouldn't get to that because I'm sure the agent would bring it up during negotiations and say to Forest, hey, hang on a second, we've got a 60 million release clause. Why are we negotiating up here? So I see it being delayed. I don't see it being cancelled.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Look, Ethan, big up. Thank you. That is ridiculously generous. Thank you very much, my man. I'll bring this back up again at the end of the show because that's not to be sneezed at. That's a massive donation to myself and the channel. So big up to you, guys. Let's have a look. Right, we have got some. I mean, look, the Basuma news. Let me ask both of you. I mean, is it news? I mean, player in contract wants to stay. I don't know if it's massive breaking news, but would you still expect to see Spurs buy a midfielder, even if Basuma's staying, even if Bentancur's staying, Bergvall, Gray, Gibbs-White, Sarr, Maddison, Kulu? It's a lot of midfielders. Would you still expect Alex to see another midfielder come in, and even if Basuma stays?
I did want to make a point about, because I thought that was a good super chat that Ethan just said, by the way. Just if you allow me just to respond to that.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's kind of something I've made in my video that I'm going to release, so I'm not really helping myself a little bit here. But at the same time, like I don't think Nottingham Forest are doing themselves any favours here, because for me, the release clause, they agreed, right? I think he's made a really good point because they agreed it, and if they had a problem with it, knowing how well Gibbs-White played last season, they should have got him sat down like most clubs done, right? Most clubs do, like we did with Bergvall. You know, whatever you think about Bergvall, what we did with Bergvall when he was on form, and the Doji, renegotiate the contract and looked at that the release clause and said, well, that's not enough. You know what I mean? That's not enough because he's really on form at the moment. We should have renegotiated it. You know what I mean? If they knew that was going to be a massive problem, because they've now looked at it and said, well, we paid, was it 35 million for him? I think it was at Wolves. I think 42 or something like that. So they're only making only a certain amount of money. So really, it's on them, really, that they should have looked ahead and thought, we need to start changing this right now, because if someone does come in, right, we need to make sure we're saving our, looking after ourselves here. So really, I think this is just salty because it's Tottenham. That's it, basically. Because if it was Man City, right, or any top club, it wouldn't be an issue. It would not be an issue whatsoever. It's Tottenham, right? I can't believe I'm actually defended, so don't get used to it.
It's this, right? It's that they've signed it off, released him for a medical, then there's a problem. Like it's almost like somebody's not done the work, Alex. It's like somebody's not checked the release clause or what. I don't get it. Like
I don't get it at all. There shouldn't be an issue with this transfer going through. Basically, you know what I mean? Because for me, Tottenham Hotspur have done the due diligence. I mean, sorry if I've got that wrong, but they've gone to the agent. It seems like they've gone to the agent and they've got an inkling what the release clause is. They've gone and paid it, right? So there shouldn't be an issue. This is on Nottingham Forest, right? And the owner has got previous. He's been complaining about what we've seen with Gary Neville. He's got Crystal Palace out the bloody Europa League, right? Because he's from what other rumours, this is rumours because I don't know the complete truth of this, but he complained to UEFA about them, having whatever it was.
The multi-ownership,
multi-ownership. So he's got previous on this. Really, for me, it's a shame. It's a shame because on this week, let's be honest here, this has been an absolutely fantastic week for Tottenham Hotspur. You know what I mean? 2 signings that change the multitude of our the team right now with those 2 signings at the moment. You see what I'm saying? So because Gibbs White is what everybody really wanted, and when you look at the clips of him, he's really, really good. But so that's on Gibbs White, the situation there. With Basuma, this is a problem. This is a massive, massive problem at the moment. That if players want to stay at the moment, because you can't. The problem is we've got too many players at the moment, haven't we? You know what I mean? So it is a massive problem, because how are you going to? Either you're going to have to keep them and try and make the best out of them, or that's going to stop you buying other players as well. You know what I mean? So I thought Basuma. I mean, I want Bentancur gone, to be honest with you, because I don't think he's that any good either, to be honest with you. But I think Basuma for me would have been assured for me to go for me. But this is a problem for me.
Well, let me, Lubo, let me ask you then the Basuma point. It's interesting, isn't it? Because this is kind of what we've been hearing for a year or two with Richie as well, right? I don't want to go, right? And if these players don't want to go, Sean is right. You can bring players in, you can almost push them down the pecking order and hope that forces them out. But it's a difficult situation for Spurs, isn't it, Lubo?
Well, he's going to take X amount of players with him to Asia, isn't he? So what does a player think if they're left off the plane?
Sure.
They look at it and they think, do you know what? I mean, how old is Basuma? 28? Can Basuma afford to waste 12 months of his career that is going to be his best 12 months? The younger you are, the by rights, if you're 28, the next year is always the best, isn't it? Because you're getting older and a little bit slower. So for me, it's fine. I'm sure these players, if Frank makes it clear that they're not part of his plans, what are they going to do? They're going to sit tight.
But has Kudos got a point, though, Lubo? Like, we are all talking as though he's not a good footballer. We are all talking as though we know that Thomas Frank doesn't want him. Mate, have we ever thought maybe Thomas Frank's going, that's what I want in my midfield?
Well, Frank hasn't stopped Basuma having talks to Fenerbahce, has he?
That's rumoured though at the moment.
Sure. If the rumours are true.
You see what I'm saying, right? Like I do feel that
Spurs
Basuma
turn around. Sav, Spurs haven't turned around and said the same as what Liverpool have about Diaz, have they?
No, of course, but let's be fair. There hasn't actually been, as far as we know, there hasn't actually been any solid bids. Whereas Bayern Munich actually bid for Diaz and were told, nah.
Well, I'm reading, and again, it's speculation that Spurs have had offers of 17 million, but what 20? So
what for Basuma?
Who knows? Yes. It's all speculation, isn't it? We can only,
that's all we're doing it. That's all we're doing it. Listen. By the way, just because of that one comment doesn't mean he's not leaving. It did also say that he'd be open to staying in the Premier League. It could be, for me, see, I look at a club and a manager like Everton and David Moyes and think that go and be the main man. Do you know what I mean? I look at that and go and play alongside Idrissa Gueye and be the main man in midfield with Ghana or whatever. But look, moving away from Basuma, guys. Moving away from Basuma. First of all, let's have a look at this. Where are we? That was about that. So we've got this from. So this was from Dean Jones that today that said Tottenham have inquired about the signing of João Paulinho. Paulinho became a target after Frank detailed to the club recruitment team the exact midfield profile he wishes to sign. Potentially signing the Bayern Munich midfielder would not impact their Morgan Gibbs White pursuit. Paulinho, no brainer.
I'm annoyed with that one, to be honest with you. I'm annoyed with that one because I think we should have negotiated with to get Paulinho when we're trying to get Tell. I just don't understand it still. I really still don't understand it because I just think it's just I just think the Tell thing just doesn't make sense to me, and you could have easily just negotiated Paulinho for that one for me rather than doing it separately. You know,
but apparently, though, I don't think it is as simple as that, Alex. Apparently, the talk is that there were metrics that were hit. I don't know if this is true, but there's a lot of reports saying there were metrics that were hit, certain targets that were hit, which meant that Spurs had to sign him. But either way, I mean, Tell aside, he's got nothing to do with Paulinho, right?
No.
Paulinho as a footballer, guys, isn't that a no-brainer in terms of everything we need from a ball winner, from a defensive midfield player? He's got good passing as well. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, definitely. Go on, Luba.
No, I'd have Walton first, offer Palace cash plus Basuma to sort that one out. If we couldn't get Walton, Paulinho, and Douglas Luiz number 3, we definitely need a 6. That's for sure. So
yeah, I feel like someone. Listen, I'd love Wharton, by the way. I think when you look at age, profile, homegrown, I do expect that to be I'll tell you what, if Spurs get that deal over the line, then we really do mean business, because I don't think Steve Parish is going to make that easy in any way, shape or form for Tottenham. Whereas Paulinho, I do feel
he's not home trained, isn't he? That's the thing at the moment, unfortunately for him, isn't it? What is it? Walton. Unfortunately, Walton. He's
homegrown, isn't he?
He's homegrown.
He's not club trained.
Club trained, and that's our problem at the moment, isn't it? Unfortunately, so he still adds to that squad, doesn't he? Unfortunately, but he's a good player. No, I'm not complaining about that.
But with the club trained, Alex, with the club trained issue, who are you getting?
No. I'm saying no. It's a good signing. I'm not complaining about that. It's just unfortunately it just doesn't help our situation with the squad, isn't it? Unfortunately, isn't it? But I'm not complaining about.
But Alex, that's my point. But
no one's going to do that, isn't it?
The only person out there that is going to help us with that is Dennis Churkin.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Unless we bring back Winks, unless you bring back Skip. Who you've got? You've got Winks, Skip, Churkin, Kane. Madueke's gone to Arsenal. By the way, I don't think Madueke would even count as club trained, would he? Because of the age he left.
Yeah.
So Remain Mundell, Dennis Churkin. So I mean, he does help us with homegrown, though. But I mean, Lubo, a player like Wharton, we're seeing a lot of noise about him. I mean, what do you reckon? 70? 65, 70 million? What Palace are going to want?
Minimum. I would think minimum. Based
can
on
you see it getting done, Lubo?
Age. Sorry, sir.
Can you see it getting done? There's a lot. Look, it's one of those ones. There's a lot of smoke, and no smoke without fire. But we haven't really heard from anybody really reputable that's willing to put their name to that rumor. But can you see it? Do you think it is in talks? Do you think there is a possibility?
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Listen, if Frank said, these are the players I want, then see what you can do. At least have a go. If there's money there now that we can spend so we can meet certain thresholds, certain prices, then why not have a go? Definitely.
It would be good. I mean, him and, what would you say? Him and Bentancur as the two?
Probably. I don't know. Depends. Listen, this is where it's so interesting, isn't it? To see what Frank comes up with, how he juggles the pack over the next few months. Yeah, we start off next Saturday at Reading. Then you got Luton, then you got Arsenal, then Newcastle, and then I think Bayern Munich, and then PSG. So it's going to be interesting to see who he plays, where he plays them.
So he's got 6 games until Burnley, right? We got 6 games till Burnley.
6. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. This is going to be a very, very interesting pre-season for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And the last thing before we end the show, the next 5 minutes, guys. The last thing I wanted to say, seeing this one's been doing the rounds, which is it's Wissa. Again, Alex Crook has reported it. It's been reported by Standard Sport as well. Lots of people going with this that Spurs, Nottingham Forest are in talks. Spurs want him as well. Newcastle want him. Apparently they want 50, but I think they'll get knocked down on that because he's only got a year left. That would be another great bit of business, wouldn't it, guys? If you've got Gibbs White, if you've got Kudus, you get Wissa, possibly Wharton or Paulinho. We're now looking at a top transfer window, aren't we?
Again, speculation. I read a report saying that Spurs won't pay more than 35. Well, if they want the guy and Newcastle and Forest are up there, then it's probably going to be the first one who pays 50 million.
Sure. Do you reckon any of them will pay 50 million, though? He's got 1 year left on his contract. Do you reckon they will?
Possibly. Quite possibly. I mean, Newcastle needs support for Isak. Callum Wilson's constantly injured. We talk about Richie, but Wilson's
left.
Wilson's now left, has he?
Yeah, Callum Wilson's gone.
So they need a replacement, don't they?
Yeah.
But,
Alex, what do you think of Wissa?
I don't know whether he's good because of the Mbremo partnership or not. I don't know at the moment. That's the thing. Yep. I think Bremo, and also I don't know if really Brentford can afford to let him go anyway if Bremo goes to Manchester United. So
sure,
I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But in saying that, there's limited amount of strikers out there at the moment. So
do you not think he could recreate the Mbuemo Vissa partnership, so to speak, with a player like Kudus on our right hand side?
Could do. I say that, yeah. But are we going to spend? I mean, I don't really like talking about prices anymore. If you like the player and you want the player,
yeah, I know. As fans, we worry, don't we, so much about the price?
But I think trying to get a bargain out here it's just ridiculous. I think it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, I don't like my front line at the moment. You know what I mean? Other than so anybody, if Wissa comes in, that's cool. I think but we have to try and make it work though. Is the way that his facilities and what he had in Brentford is what we need to do at Tottenham right now. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the only way you're going to get the best out of him. Because I do think he was very. I'm not saying he's not a bad player, but at the same time, I think when he's at Brentford, you can see that he had a partner in Bremo, and they had a partner in Ivan Toney at the time as well. So yeah, you just got to play in the right way for me. And I think I'm sure that Thomas Frank would do that. I'm sure.
Yeah. I'll say what I've always said, guys. What I like about people like Wissa, what I liked about Callum Mundo, what I like about these people is I want a different profile to Solanke and Richie. I want a goal scorer. I want, do you know what I mean? And when if anyone goes and watches Wissa, I'm sure I know we've all watched him. If we go and watch him closely, he's got very, very good movement in the box. He peels off his defender. He's rapid. So he gets into that box. He tries to get his shot away. He's agile, scores all types of goals. And for me, the biggest selling point for this guy is Thomas Frank has coached him. Like that for me is the biggest thing. Would have been with him, with Mbeumo, with Norgard. All of these guys know Thomas Frank. They know how he plays. They know what to expect. And for me, I'd just love to see it. I'd love to see it because you could play Visser on his own up top. You could play him with Solanke. You could play him off the left with Solanke through the middle and Kudus right. It just makes our attack, Lubo, look a little bit more frightening. And Matt, I mean, listen, again, and Mbeumo's the one apparently who's come out and said he doesn't want anyone other than Man United. I'd love Mbeumo, but if the player has said that, then what do you do? I don't know. I agree. I would have loved to have got him, but you're not going to get Mbeumo and Kudus. Surely that would be really counterproductive, wouldn't it, to sign both of them? I'm not sure why you'd get both.
And Gibbs White with Maddison wouldn't happen. Visser will be a good acquisition, really good acquisition.
Yeah.
He brings pace to the attack, more mobile. I'd go to Germany though for me. Just go and see if Harry's interested in coming back.
Yeah,
that's what I'd be doing. If you're going for it, if you're talking about players like Walton, you want to be taken seriously. You want to really go for it. Go and get Kane back.
You love this whole go and get Harry Kane. I can't see in any way, shape, or form that Bayern Munich are going to let go of one of the world's best strikers, Lubo. I just don't get it. I don't see the rationale from their side to do that.
But you've got to give them enough time to go and buy a striker.
Yeah, but why would they? Who are they buying? Who are they buying to replace Kane?
Could they not go and get Rodrigo from Real Madrid?
Yeah, but he's not a striker, is he? Like, he's not, Harry, let's be fair. The reason we all want Harry Kane, he's one of the most lethal finishers in world football.
Absolutely.
Like, so how do you replace that? It's like when we try to replace it. How do you replace it? It's who do Bayern go and get?
You probably have to probably go and get the next two best strikers in Germany, which is what Bayern Munich are very good at doing. So
we know they've just bid for Voldemort. They bid for Voldemort. But a very different player to Harry Kane. Listen, Lubo, I think if we all woke up tomorrow and saw that Spurs were bringing back Harry Kane, Kane in the middle, Kudus off the right, and then like, I don't know, Maddison, Gibbs White, and whoever behind. I mean, it does suddenly look very, very scary. And I'm talking about top four. You don't want him back?
I don't want him back. I think we need to move on, to be honest with you. I think we're in a different space now, to be honest with you. I don't see the point. I think we need to start looking at other players and try and look at a different way of what we're going to do next season. We're in the Champions League next season as well. I think Whistler makes more sense, to be honest with you, right now, because at least he knows what Thomas Frank wants. And we got to hit the ground running. And I mean, if we are getting all these players that we're getting at the moment, I think it kind of changes the pressure on Thomas Frank right now. I think there will be a lot more pressure on him to do better next season, unfortunately for him. Because, these guys are not silly. You know what I mean? If some investment's coming in, they want a return on their investment, won't they? You know what I mean? They're not going to be all here for, a cup of tea. You know what I mean? They're not here for a cup of tea. They're here to make, they're here to make money.
Then I will want top 4 or 5, won't he? That's
sure. Exactly. 110%.
Well, if they want top 4 or 5, we've got to buy the players for top 4 or 5, right? Like,
absolutely.
Don't get me wrong.
Correct.
Gibbs White, Kudus, these are a good start. I still think you need, we're going into Champions League. I think you need 3 more. If you get Paulinho, if you get Wissa, and you get like Robinson,
Anthony Robinson. Yeah,
I'd love him. I would absolutely love Anthony Robinson flying down our left-hand side. He's everything I want in a fullback. He is everything I want. But guys, listen, I will end it there. What I will say is Harry Kane is on €480,000 a week with 2 years left on his contract. We'll see. We'll see. Listen, guys and girls, thank you in the chat. I just want to say thank you once again to Ethan. This was ridiculously generous, my friend. So thank you very much. Really do appreciate that. It means a lot. Lubo, you go and enjoy. This is your last day of holiday, right? Today?
My last day, yeah. Back tomorrow.
Go and get mad drunk, whatever you want to do. Eat some nice food. Go and make love down by the beach. Whatever you need to do, Lubo, you go and do it. Alex, hope you find your wife today. That new wife you're looking for. Hope you find her. And I'm going to go and paint a fence. That's my afternoon. She has been told, though, I will paint the fence, but if any news breaks, I will be back in here, paint all over me, going live. Big up, Ethan. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you, Lubo, for your time. Thank you, Alex. Thanks to Sean as well. I am sending, there's 850 of you in here. I'm sending you over here. By the way, Jimmy saying, but before you say it, Savva, no, Robinson is not better than Porro. I mean, brilliant comparison. He doesn't even play in the same position as Pedro Porro. I've got no idea what that's got to do. And Anthony Robinson is an assist machine. So he's a left back. Porro's a right wing back. Not sure what you thought you were doing with that comment. I will always call out the silly ones. Take care. I'm sending you over to Johnny and Sean for Football Inc. When you get there, just type in Savva Raid. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.